through the rigging. It's Tuesday afternoon, just got back from Kirikiri, and look, we've got two dredges working at the moment. So one's there on its own, the other one closest to us has got the tug on behind. And they're certainly working their way in towards the shore. I don't know how deep they have to go, but the one close to us just lifted up one of its spuds and is turning the around, and it's dropping its spud down. So it's obviously done with hydraulics. I've been up to the hospital to see Grandad. His departure for Carmo home has been delayed by a day due to the hospital not completing the paperwork. So there's a yacht coming down, which is why the bridge is lifting. And we have one dredge still going, the other one has been taken off to unload at Kissing Point. And here's the bridge going up. I sort of think the Blues Brothers could have done something with this bridge. Shot the gap, though the landing on the other side will be a fair bit rough. Maybe we could use it as a moonshot. And we can see the mast appearing, so this is a catch. And the bridge lifts on demand during daylight hours apart from rush hour. It still banks the traffic up a long way. Here she is out the other side, and soon it will start to drop down. Oh, there it goes on the way down. Right, it's getting there. Oh, and just in time for more rain. Well, I managed to find a much more sensible top rope, so it's double braid floating. I presume it's polypropylene, and we won't be splicing it, we'll just be tying bowlines on it. I've got twice as long as I need, so I have a spare. It's Friday morning, so weekend weather's looking a bit variable, but Sunday certainly doesn't look very good. Oh, it's Friday afternoon, Up at Dad's, lawns have been mowed. Not sure if it was the lawnmower man or the neighbour who offered to do it. If we get a bill, we'll know it's the lawnmower man. So that's looking a lot better. Still have a few red rhododendrons on this one. It's been fantastic. In the rain, certainly haven't need to water it. Getting greener and greener. Citrus down here, but it's too wet to be picking anything up. Gardens are still looking pretty good. He's fairly well settled, we think, at Carmo Rest Home. We'll need to redirect the mail. Job for next week. We'll wind the clock, but it will eventually end up stopping. We'll take Dad's car for a run. Keep the battery charged. We'll still have it on hand because it's a bit higher. Hopefully he'll be able to get in it and go for a trip. Our cars are a bit too low for him. It's mid-afternoon now. Bit of a sou'wester blowing. Rain's actually eased off. It was quite persisting drizzle before. We'll wait for things to go down and check the forecast. Well, Saturday morning, just been off the phone to Matthew, who's in Palma, Mallorca, telling me about all the super yachts lined up outside his office window, and then inspecting J-class mast bases and talking to J-class skippers, and apparently doing a sea trial on a 55-metre boat later in the week. He's having a great time. The weather here is probably 7 knots of south, but it's going to come up during the day, go around to southeast, and then before it gets really strong, go around to east, which is not too bad for the boat. But Sunday's terrible, and we'll see what the weather's like when I finish breakfast as to whether we go out and look at the toilet. I still haven't got the leak found on the floor of the dinghy, been too busy, but we know we can pump it up. It's just after 8. We better get some tools. Screwdrivers, and most importantly, tools to get hoses off, which is the hardest part of the whole thing. Right, now it's resting up on its bucket. It just helps drain things and gets things to a slightly better height for me. Although it's never easy. There's the salt water supply undone. And I'm going to use some heat to help get it off. I did try the heat gun, but it is too much initial current draw for the inverter, but as long as it doesn't melt the hose, I should be right. And that came off more easily than last time, so that's a winning idea. I've used the pump to pump all the water out I can. I've got to make sure we don't drop this down too low, this hose, otherwise it siphons the salt water in. Next we need to get the salt water supply off the back of the toilet, then the pump out, and then we can get the rest of the hoses off the pump. That one's off. Now get the pump out. Right, we've got 4 Phillips head screws attaching the pump to the toilet. Pumps out, just hanging by the wires. So we'll cut them and get the rest of the hose connections off. Here's the offending object, so when it stalls, you can get in the back with a screwdriver and loosen it up. But despite disassembling it completely last weekend, it still tended to stall at startup. So we will remove the hoses, and by God do they stay well attached to their barbs. So much easier with some heat. Right, new pump assembly. Well, I've put a vented loop in the system, but maybe need the next size down. Well, the replacement doesn't have the arrow on it, but it does have a sticker here. So that's outlet, that's this one, that's inlet, and that's that one. Okay, hose is on. I was a bit concerned I didn't get the impeller up tight enough on the other one, but it actually doesn't sit that tight on the shaft anyway. We'll worry about the wiring once we've actually got it installed. Now the gasket and some new machine screws to mount it. This goes into the toilet, this end in the toilet, that end out, and I found out last weekend the cutout, not surprisingly, needs to go to where the discharge is. It'll be far too fiddly to show you, but I'm sure I can show you the assembled item. Right, assembled. Need to reconnect the pipe work, put it back in place, and then worry about the electrical. Okay, we have hoses connected and clamps tightened. Right, just electrical and just a few tools. Oh, thank God for that. All cleaned up, floor drying. Final test. So switch. Fantastic. So we'll put a vented loop on the inlet, which is over there, and the outlet already has a big vented loop under the stairs. So here's the stairs, here's the vented loop sitting up there on the outlet. Right, it's starting to get a little bit rougher out there, so we'll tidy them away and head back to shore. The wind's going southwest, the tide's going out. Once we get back, it's still relatively easy. And there's home. We need another bit of work on the trees so we can actually see the harbour. Oh, here's the new stairs. I keep forgetting that I can use them. Oh, well, up at Grandad's again, getting a few things, taking the opportunity of hoeing the whole garden. Seems to be twice a week at the moment. Let's have a drought. That will make life a bit easier. So he seems pretty well settled. Camo, not too sure where he is or what's going on. Did mention there seems to be a whole lot of old people around them. But it's comfortable, and we hope that it proves to be successful. Right, we've done all that, and we've done all this. To be honest, we've actually done every bit of garden for, well, I suppose the whole lot's been done for the second time this week. It would be nice if we got the promised drought, then stuff would stop growing, but obviously forecast is for a lot of rain tomorrow through to Monday. It's 4 o'clock. We've got back from seeing Grandad. Southeaster's building, tide's coming in, so it's not going to be so rough. And we're starting to get some light rain coming through. The forecast, of course, didn't mention any really strong southeast tomorrow, but now it does. We'll see how we go. Cabbage trees in bloom. Unfortunately, it often means that they die. We'll see how this one gets on. I've had starlings try to nest in this hole and unsuccessfully trying to get material in. Oh, it's 6:30. We can have a fairly steady light rain. Wind's not a concern. There's enough east in it that the boat's not in the full force. And we'll see what tomorrow brings. Sunday morning, there's enough east in it that the boat's not in the full force of the wind, but of course the forecast changed late yesterday, or yesterday afternoon. Imagine it will look a bit worse before it looks better. But, we're coming up high tide now, so tide will turn, waves will leap up, and then after lunch it'll be coming back in again. Just flattens the water out. There's one of the starlings. He's so industriously trying to nest in an unnestable place. Well, there's his mate who's just appeared. And the power's gone out. Yeah, probably just as well. We weren't doing that well at the moment. hard on the old ticker. Oh, it's half time, power's still out, I can stream it on the phone. 12 points to South Africa, 6 to us, and we've got 1 red card, so discipline. Also had a yellow. Hard to win without the right number of people on the field. Anyway, wind's still building out there, tide's turned, and Kathmanto's still sitting pretty. I can hear a wind whistling through the rigging at times. And when the tide turns, the boat tends to come a bit more side on. We have power back on, so we can go back to the big screen. It all looks pretty much the same out there. You hear the wind whistling through Kathmanto's rigging. Seagulls going upwind in the tide. A little rougher further out where the sandbar is. I've mowed the lawn before the heavy rain starts, so you can see where the directional driller with its caterpillar treads made a mess because they got the fibre down to here. Doesn't look near so bad down here close to shore, but let's have a look out by the boat. Either be out there or even worse further out. And you can see how they're just that little bit sheltered from the point of our bay and the end of Manganese Point. But the beach is being nicely graded and all the lead has disappeared away from here. It is starting to rain, but we'll take the floor up and see whether we can motivate ourselves to actually find the leak. Right, I found it. Just in this corner. Now I've marked it and I'll check the rest. No other leak. Success. Proper stuff's on the boat, but it was only a small hole, so it obviously soaked in. Rain has been reasonably light but steady for a couple of hours. Wind's really howling through the rigging, right at the edge of the wind zone there. We're getting a few gusts through.